the Point fireworks on the 4th, ride and roller coasters, spectacular fireworks display, right on Cedar Point Beach at dusk. More info, cedarpoint.com. Okay, a couple of passes here for you. Get you out to Sandusky. Good luck. Have fun. Call 10-216-578-1007 to win, or 800-348-1007.
To all our men and women in uniform.
I've been a lifelong fan, 20 years in the military, come back, and to find your afternoon show is f***ing horrible.
Thanks from the Alan Cox Show.
Horrible, horrible.
On 100.7 WMMS.
I got more money for you, about $1,000, courtesy of the Buzzard Bookie. Here in about 7 or 8 minutes. That next keyword, your way, around 5:30. Your Cleveland Guardians are in Kansas City to start up tonight against the Royals. That's an 8:10 start here on MMS. They are in Central Time there, so that would be a 7:10 game if you traveled to see them. You can listen here on the Buzzard and on the iHeartRadio app. If you do listen on the app to this program or otherwise, tell me where. I'd like to know where people are. Our buddy Roman is a roving bureau chief, right now?
Yeah.
Where's he, in Denver?
Denver is what he said yesterday. He said, I don't know how long he's going to be there because he's out there on the road.
Well, he's there now and listening on the app. Sasha is one of our bureau chiefs in Portland, Oregon. Andy listens in Atlanta. Jeff's up in Palmer, Alaska. Jackie's in Paramus, New Jersey. Nick is down in Gainesville, Florida. We were just talking about that earlier in the show because the Gators got destroyed by LSU in the Men's College World Series. But Gainesville has better bands than Baton Rouge. That's my take on it. You can agree to disagree. But if you listen on the app, thanks. I appreciate it. Our own Bill Squire, of course, who was employed for many years by NASA.
Oh, no, that's a misconception.
I'm sorry?
I just shopped there.
You saw that NASA is making a big show about the fact.
Big show, one of my
Inuit siblings?
brothers, yeah.
Yeah, what's the, is there a current updated non-problematic term for Eskimo brothers, Inuit siblings, or?
Something like that.
For the uninitiated.
You can still say brothers.
Inuit brothers?
Inuit brothers, because we've both been Inuit.
Yeah! Yeah, for the uninitiated, explain old-timey Eskimo brothers.
It's
since
two
I'm
guys,
not, I'm not.
Two guys that have had sex with the same girl.
I don't think
not at the same time, but just like over.
Right, not at the same time.
Not sex having career.
Not an Eiffel Tower.
Yeah,
this is over the course of your sex having career.
I got the Big Show and Larry Johnson are my favorites.
Together, they're referred to as Big Johnson.
They're pretty awesome.
I don't think, I'm sure we've delved into this before. I'm not aware of being in that situation with anyone famous.
Anyone famous.
Yeah, anyone famous. That's right. I don't even know, I don't know guys who have slept with girlfriends of mine. Like that wasn't on my radar. If I ever met them, they certainly didn't tell me.
I don't know,
and I wouldn't tell them either.
The day-to-day ones, but the famous ones. It's because I brought it up on the show, and the person that told me this texted in like, "Yeah, Big Show, Larry Johnson."
This was Big Booby Girl.
This is one of the Big Booby Girls.
The blonde is who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, she was blonde, but she was never. We only hooked up for like a month.
Month?
Yeah, this is like a month
in the span of a month, she told you Larry Johnson and...
She never told me in the moment. She told me later when she was listening to the show. She would catch the show.
Oh, after you were split up.
Yeah. And she'd be like, hey, Big Show, Larry Johnson.
But why tell you then?
I don't know, because it's contributing to the show.
She's thinking about the show, Alan.
Yeah.
Right.
Just like I wanted to do the mowing the lawn thing on here, she also cares about getting that engagement going on the show.
Yeah, but she wanted to humble brag to you.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, Larry Johnson's amazing. Like, that's the funniest one. Like, because it's also, she's a little bit older than me. So this is in the days of, like, he had to call her house phone when she still lived with her parents.
Right. The guy's like 60.
And they'd be like, Larry's on the phone. Like, her little brother would answer and be like, it's Larry. Which
Wow.
is so funny.
When he was with the Knicks or when?
I think this is when
retired.
I think this is when he was with Charlotte.
Wow.
I think this is like when he was a rookie.
How much older than you was she?
Or
Or was he considerably older than her?
so I was probably 10. So she's probably 7 or 8 years older than me, something like that.
So she's closer to my age.
Yeah.
I see.
Still hot.
Mary,
And this is 7 or 8 years
Mary,
ago, too.
anything like that on your radar?
As far as famous people go,
I mean, I know civilian-wise. I mean, it's...
not that I can think. Not that anybody's told me. Where like I've hooked up with a guy and they're like, "Hey,
What
I
about
also banged."
What about that
Rihanna."
really funny TikTok guy?
Who is this?
No. Stop.
Well, now I'm being left out.
They're just someone that she used to hook up with that's not very funny.
God, he's so bad.
But he posts a lot of TikToks. And
Is he
whenever-
popular on TikTok?
No.
He's terrible. And whenever I see his TikToks, I send them to Mary, and she gets really embarrassed. And
Why?
Because it was such a bad idea.
Yeah, but you weren't... I assume you're still drinking,
Yes.
so you get a little bit of leeway there. But you weren't hooking up with him because he was hilarious.
No. I don't know why. This is the one whose
Yeah, you
girlfriend
do.
came home and I had to
Oh,
jump
really?
out the window.
This is jumping out, running through the woods guy?
Yes, without my shoes, and then I crashed my car on the way home. That was this guy.
And now he's on TikTok like everybody else?
But it's so bad. It's some of the worst things I've ever seen.
Well, also, he's got to be like in his mid-30s, right?
Yeah.
Why is he on TikTok?
He's got a kid and stuff now.
Right. What's he doing on TikTok?
Who knows? He's trying to be
I'm
funny.
on TikTok.
Yeah, we're all on TikTok.
But you
You're
got-
on
but
TikTok?
We're all performers.
Right. He
is
was
my-
a comedian.
Well, it doesn't sound like he's very funny.
He's not.
It's not.
That's the whole point.
But he tries, and it's my favorite thing to send to Mary. She gets very
I'm trying
mad.
to think. I haven't really hooked up with anybody famous that would have like a really cool famous person that they've
Right.
also had sex with.
Right.
Because girls, generally, I feel like guys aren't like it's more common probably for a girl to sleep with an NBA player. Do you get
Than
what
a
I'm
guy?
saying? No, like, dude.
I mean, you were in a limo with Dennis Rodman. That could have gone.
but I
a
didn't sleep with
But
him.
that could have gone a different way had you been open to it.
Dude,
Then,
he was
then
like
you'd be Eskimo sisters or tunnel buddies.
tunnel buddies with Carmen Electra.
Carmen Electra and Madonna.
And
like,
everyone
you
else.
should have done that
That's
just for
pretty
the
good.
story.
Dude, do you see the sheer size of Dennis Rodman?
You were drunk.
So
you wouldn't have
what?
felt the thing. It'd have been fine.
And
Be
you
able
would have
to
had
walk.
the A-listers.
You would have.
Yeah.
Your dad would have died even younger.
My dad asked me why I didn't when he was alive.
Oh, really?
He was like, I
was
can't
on my
believe
side?
you didn't sleep with someone who slept with Carmen Electra. That's what my dad
Oh,
thought.
this is the most I've ever missed your dad.
Yeah,
Your dad asked you why didn't you sleep with Dennis Rodman?
yeah, because he was like, this is a once in a lifetime thing, and he had a thing for Carmen Electra. I'm assuming because that was the one he brought up. But
So he wanted to be mental
Froxy.
tunnel buddies. He wanted to be
guess.
mental Inuit siblings
Someone with my DNA
with Dennis.
Right.
hooked up with someone who I fantasized about.
I guess
Boy, that is 6 degrees
it's
of,
weird.
of Tara Patrick.
But yeah, I
Wow.
don't think that there's been because I haven't hooked up with a lot of people that would be shooting in that range to be
Yeah.
sleeping with famous people.
Well, I digress. NASA is making a big show about the fact that they are recycling, because you have to, 98% of the pee and sweat on the International Space Station into drinkable water.
Nope.
That makes me want to barf.
Well, they got to do. First of all, I didn't even realize the ISS was still up there. Like, aren't we hitching a ride from Russia or something now? I thought this thing was long gone. I guess I'm not paying attention to it. 98% of the now this is a Black Mirror. This is Black Mirror. They should do this because it's based on a true story, but then it takes like a terrible, awful turn, right? They use advanced dehumidifiers to capture moisture from the crew's breath, from the crew's sweat as they go about their daily tasks, and their urine. And a distillation process produces water and a urine brine.
What's a brine?
It's salty water. That seems redundant. Urine brine so they go 98%. Somebody has to drink the other 2%, though.
No, they use it to clean the floors or something.
That's what I want to. Who is in trouble up there? And I don't know how many people are up there. Who's in trouble up there? Like your day in the barrel is you got to drink the other 2%. They said, let's just say you collect 100 pounds of water on the station. You lose 2 pounds of that, and the other 98% just keeps going around and around and around. A very important step forward in the evolution of their life support systems. So they're drinking pee and sweat. And listen, if they can't mass market this down here on terra firma, they're missing a golden opportunity, if you will. So who knows? Well, think of all the technology that we've derived from NASA. You think they're just going to hide this light under a bushel basket? They're going to go, hey, new from NASA. You know, there's going to be in-home dehumidifiers once climate change makes things more and more uninhabitable. You're going to need to reclaim that water. They're trying to get out ahead of it. They're like, look, hate to tell you guys, down there, in 5 or 6 years when you're all eating cricket powder, you're going to need to be drinking your sweat too. And peeing, you need to conserve every bit of water. So you're going to go to like the, Circle K or whatever, go into the cooler, and you're going to find the NASA, the sweat water.
NASA sweat water.
Splashdown from NASA. Yummy. It's reconstituted pea water. Freeze-dried asparagus flavored up there on the ISS. Something to think about. I got money here for you. It's $1,000, courtesy of the Buzzard Bookie. Your shot at some money right before the holiday. Good luck.
This is your chance to bet with the Buzzard Bookie and win $1,000 now. Enter this nationwide keyword at WMMS.com. Bills. That's bills. Enter it now at WMMS.com.
I think it was a couple of months ago that there was a story in Huntsville, Alabama, that a woman working the ground crew at a small regional airport had been sucked into the plane engine. Wasn't paying attention, right? First, this has happened with stunning frequency, people not paying attention. So there was this rich kid a few months back who got off a helicopter to meet his family or something, or he was getting, remember that? Yeah. Getting on the helicopter. He forgot his phone on the helicopter. So again, situational awareness was zero. He didn't really pay attention. Everybody's yelling at him while he goes back to get his phone. He doesn't hear them because it's so loud. He walks into the rotor, or it chops his head off or something, going back to get his phone. And then a couple of months ago, there's this girl in Huntsville, Alabama, I think, who's working the ground crew. And she gets sucked into the engine. And the commercial term for this is ingested by the jet engine, which is really gross. If you're trying to make people feel less gross about it, ingested is not the way to do it. Now, her family is suing because they're saying that something was not, protocols were not followed, whatever. That's a tough case to make because usually in these cases, it's somebody wasn't paying attention. So for the second time in 6 months, there's a story about someone ingested into a jet engine. This happened on Friday at the San Antonio airport. This is somebody who was an airport ramp worker. It was 10:30 at night, local time, on Friday. And so the FAA and the NTSB are investigating this. And it didn't take them very long because they determined it was suicide.
Jumped into a jet engine.
Unless they're just trying to like gloss over something here, right? But imagine it's suicide. You get near the jet engine, you get like the jet.
Get those intrusive thoughts.
Yeah. See?
This is a person who didn't have a journal.
Should always keep a journal.
So there's somebody working the ramp or whatever. But imagine if it was legit suicide and this person just goes, I'm done. And they jump into the jet engine. The worker had been told in 2 separate meetings to stay away from the engines until they had been shut down and the aircraft's beacon was off. But still, I mean...
Twice they had to tell him, which means that this was happening often.
Yo.
That he was hanging around the jet engines.
Well, or he was casing the joint. He's like, hey, how close can I get before anybody's? But imagine, that's a baller move. To jump into the jet engine and kill yourself.
That's wild.
Because you really want to leave an impression on people's minds.
Say, the feel so bad for the people that have to clean that up.
No,
Or
they
if there's
probably
anything to clean up.
hose it out, right? Oh, I'm sure there is. I bet they have to take the whole thing apart.
Or he waited until he was working with someone he hated to make the biggest mess he could.
Yo, check this out.
That's super petty.
That's what I'm saying.
I think they finally ID'd Julian Sands' remains, too. Remember that actor who went hiking and they couldn't find out where he was?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They've identified the remains as Julian Sands. He was hiking on Mount Baldy in January, and they couldn't find him. They'd been searching the area, and they finally, San Bernardino County, finalists, one of our bureau chiefs out there just sent me this. They finally positively ID'd the remains as Julian Sands, who's a great British actor. But if you were a fan of the Warlock series, kind of a cheesy, kind of a cool few movies in the 90s. But he was in all kinds of stuff and real good. But I guess he was out hiking. I don't know if he was with somebody, but he had been missing since January after he went hiking. But there was deep snow, and they had found a couple of other hikers before he went missing. These people who go out on these hikes. And yeah, the weather can hit you very quickly, but I was reading about this guy and his two stepsons who went hiking. I don't think it was Death Valley, but it was like 110 degrees. And they couldn't find the car. They didn't have water. And it's like the stepdad and one of the stepkids died. And the other kid's got to try to find the car. I mean, you'd want to bring like a giant backpack just full of water.
Yes, but
full of water.
But you have to wear that then. If you're on a long hike, you have to carry all that extra weight.
Right, but you need to plot out that hike too based on how much water you're going to have. It's these people who park and then go, let's go hiking. I don't understand. We've all been on hikes where it's really, really hot. And you're like, oh, I'm not going to be out here for a long time. And some of these people...
This doesn't sound like it was on a trail. How do you get lost on a trail?
No, this was like in the desert.
That's what I mean.
But they like left the car. I don't know. Yeah.
I've never hiked off a trail before. One time, so a couple years ago, when my sister and I, 2021, my sister and I went to the Redwoods, we...
Was that time?
What?
When was? Oh no, that was.
I'm Living for Me was in Portland. I went and did that by myself. Yeah. When we went to the Redwoods, we were on the trail, but there were like two ways you could go, and we ended up going the long way, but still stayed on the trail. But like we had looked it up on the All Trails app, and we're like, all right, this is like a 3-mile hike. It should take us X amount of minutes, and then it was like double the time. And I'm like, there's no way. Like we're still on this trail. It hasn't like disappeared. Like we're gonna have to get back to where we started at some point. It's a loop. And I started to freak out a little bit, but we ended up just accidentally choosing the longer way. Mm-hmm. But it's the people, I think, who go off the trail, or they go to places that don't have trails at all, like the desert, where they're just like, let me just figure this out. Hopefully I'll find it back. That blows my mind. I'll never understand that.
Right.
Like, these places exist for a reason. Trails and things.
That's right. Listen to Mary Santora. These places exist for a reason.
All right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of zoned out there. When you go hiking, just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Don't worry about trails.
Just walk wherever you need to walk.
Okay.
Wipe with anything. Drop apple cores. Whatever you need to do, man. It's your trail. Or not.
That's slang for drugs, dropping apple cores.
Yeah.
Okay. Do some mushrooms and just wander.
Not all who wander are lost, Bill.
But all who are lost are wandering.
They're wondering where it all went wrong for them as they're cozying up to the giant redwood